see, Elizabeth Shackleford.
Good afternoon. It's been a long one. Thank you for this opportunity. I want to remind many of the people in this room were in this room roughly about a year ago. And on those screens, we heard from a cybersecurity expert, Jeremy Epstein. He's not only a cybersecurity expert, he's part of the National Science Foundation and is consulted with regularly. And he told us that bar none, hand-marked paper ballots are the state of the art when it comes to secure voting systems. We've heard a lot of information about a lot of different factors, and we have to weigh various factors with respect to coming up with a new voting system. We've also heard a number of myths about hand-marked paper ballots bandied about, including things like talking about pencils, when most hand-marked paper ballot systems use pens. And when people have talked about how the voter immediately inserts her ballot into the scanner. There is no opportunity for hanging chads or any of that other stuff. The scanners are equipped to detect stray marks, inappropriate marks, or overvotes, and will immediately send the ballot back to the voter to correct or void. So there's none of that kind of nonsense that happened in the past with the butterfly ballots and the pins getting transported downtown, all of that. We've also heard that with ballot marking devices, electronic ballot marking devices, that they are, quote, not connected to the internet. And this is one of the biggest myths about these systems. That individual machine, when it's used to vote on, is not connected to the internet. That's true. But the information that that machine needs to be able to display ballot information and process that ballot came from another computer somewhere, a server sitting on a network, which is connected to the internet. Now, for us, this is kind of wild, out there fallacy stuff. It's kind of hard to imagine, but the bad guys, they've got that all figured out. In fact, several of the ballot marking device machines that were demoed at one of the very many vendor demos that have happened were hacked during the demo. I think the security of our vote is extraordinarily paramount among all these considerations. But people have been making a case that hand-marked paper ballots are actually more expensive than a ballot marking device system, which is a myth. A ballot marking device system would cost, straight up, the first year, roughly $150 million. Hand-marked paper, $120 million that could help Georgia's schools, that could help those in downstate Georgia with rural health care. There are many, many purposes that would be way more important than spending money enriching these vendors who really, really are working very hard to get Georgia to spend $150 million. With respect to, I'm really kind of stunned that, first of all, that the SAFE Commission of 18 people had one, count him, one, cybersecurity expert on it. We have, just in Atlanta, there are two nationally recognized cybersecurity experts, Logan Lamb and Rich DeMillo, who could easily have been appointed to the commission and or referred to. I'm stunned that apparently, and I'm just a lowly little citizen, what do I know? But apparently the commission did not see fit to talk to any of the many, many states that have implemented hand-marked paper ballot systems very successfully, where they and their citizens are perfectly happy. Various people have brought up various kinds of issues. Researching and talking to a few states that use strictly hand-marked paper ballot systems probably could allay many of those items. But ultimately, to me, it comes down to why, when you could have a system that is recognized by the cybersecurity experts as the most secure, why would you not go for it? Why, when you could have a system which is transparent, where the voter can see exactly who she voted for, not have to depend on a barcode, which could well have been hacked, why would you not go for the ultimate in transparency? Why? There was, at the Commission meetings that I attended, there was overwhelming support among many, many members of the public who spoke for hand-marked paper ballots. Why would you not listen to the public in those kind of numbers? Our midterm elections were the laughingstock of this nation for a lot of reasons. One of those reasons was many, as covered by many national publications, are horrific DRE machines. Why, when we have been so ill-served by those machines and by their main vendor, ES&S, who has way too much influence in this process, why would we go and get DRE 2.0 when we can get a cheaper, more transparent, and more importantly, more secure voting system? Thank you so much.